Hi guys, welcome to a lesson on time. Today we're going to look at what you already know about o'clock and half past, just to refresh your memory. First, let's have a look at just clocks and some of the features of clocks that we need to know about. The first feature I want to talk to you about are the hands on a clock. On a clock, we have a minute hand and an hour hand, and it's really important to be able to tell the difference between these two, to be able to tell the time accurately. So hopefully you remember that the hour hand is the smallest one and the minute hand is the long hand. Okay? When we're telling the time on a clock, it's easy if we look at the minute hand first and then where the hour hand is. The other feature on a clock are the numbers. Okay, so it has 12 at the top, then goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down the bottom, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then it starts going around again. So the two features we need to know are the hands and be able to tell the difference between the minute and the hour hand, and then also we need to remember the position of the numbers on the clock. Okay, let's start talking about o'clock times now and what you already know. Have a little think and see if you can remember before I tell you, where does the minute hand, so the long hand, point to when it's an o'clock time? Let's see if you can remember. That's right, it points to the 12, so the long hand would be on the 12. Now if I put the small hand on the 1, what time is that? That's right, it's 1 o'clock. Let's try another one. Okay, now remember it's o'clock, so the long hand is always going to be pointing to the 12. Now if I put the little hand pointing to the 5, can you tell me what the time is? That's right, it's 5 o'clock. Now the other clock that we might see is a digital clock. So this one is called an analog clock and this one is called a digital clock. 5 o'clock would look like this on the digital clock. We put the hour over here and the minutes over here. So this clock now says 5 o'clock. Let's take a look at some more analog clocks and see if you can help me tell the time. First of all, let's look at this clock here. So we can see that the long minute hand is pointing to the 12, so we know that it's going to be o'clock. Then we look at where the hour hand, the small hand, is pointing, and it's pointing on the 5, so we know that it's 5 o'clock. Okay, let's have a look at this clock over here now. The long minute hand is pointing to the 12, so it's an o'clock time again. But now let's look at the hour hand. It's pointing to the 4, so it's 4 o'clock. All right, I'm going to give you some time to have a look at this one here. Now this clock looks a little bit different. See if you can tell the time on this one here. Okay, the minute hand is the first one we look at, is pointing to the 12. So we again know it's an o'clock time. Let's look at the hour hand now, the small hand. It's pointing to the 3. So we know that it's 3 o'clock. And the last one over here. I'm sure you've guessed it already. The long minute hand is pointing on the 12, so it's o'clock again. And the short hour hand is pointing to the 11, so it's 11 o'clock. Do you think you could help me match these digital clocks with the analog clocks up the top here? Now you'll notice that I've left one blank. We're going to have a go at filling that one out ourselves. Okay, let's look at the first clock here. Now these are all clocks that we saw on the previous page, so I know you can tell the time on these. Remember this one? Minute hand is on the 12, it's an o'clock time. The hour hand is on the 4, so it's 4 o'clock. Have a look down here. Which one do you think matches? That's right, it's this one here that has the 4 and the 00. So that reads 4 o'clock. Let's move on to the next clock here. Okay, the long minute hand is pointing to the 12, so we again know it's an o'clock time. The short hour hand is pointing to the 5, so we know that it's 5 o'clock. Let's have a look at our digital clocks down the bottom here. If it was 5 o'clock, what number would we expect to see? That's right, a 5. So I can't see a 5 in any of those, so it must belong to our blank one. So 5 o'clock would be written 5, 0, 0. I'll drag that one up to there. Okay, let's move on to our next clock. I'm sure you already know this time. Again, let's look at the long minute hand. It's on the 12, so we know that it's o'clock. Then we look at the short hour hand, and we can see that it's on the 11, so it's 11 o'clock. Okay, let's have a look down at our digital clocks here. If it's 11 o'clock, what number would we see? That's right, 11. So 11 o'clock. And our final time, let's have a look. The long minute hand is pointing to the 12, so again it's an o'clock time. And the short hour hand is pointing to the 3, so it's 3 o'clock. Let's just check that I haven't tried to trick us here. Does that read 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock, it does. So well done. Now we're going to look at half past. Okay, this word half is really important here. If you think of half of a circle, you would split it down here. So when it's half past, the long minute hand points down to the 6 because it's gone halfway around the clock. Okay, so when the long hand is on the 6, we know it's half past something. Now watch what happens with the short hour hand. Okay, now you'll notice that it's not on a number. It doesn't point to one of those lines there. It is halfway between two numbers. So when we see a half past time, we look at the long minute hand first and see it's on the 6. Then we look at what number it's just gone past. So the time that I've just drawn here is half past 1. It's not half past 2 because it hasn't gone past the 2, but it definitely has gone past the 1. Let's try another one. Okay, this time it's half past again, so of course my long minute hand always points to the 6 for half past. But let's have a look. If I put the short hour hand here, what time have I made on the clock now? So again, we know that it's half past because it's travelled halfway around the clock. And it's past, this hand has gone past the 10, hasn't gone past the 11, so it is half past 10. Now if we talk about our digital clock now, half past looks a little bit different, okay? So again, we always write the hour time over this side of the dots, and that is 10, okay, here. Now, when it's pointing here, the part that goes on this side is 30 because it takes 30 minutes to get to that point there. Let's have another go at that with one more time. Okay, so I'm making another half past time, so my long minute hand is on the 6 again, but this time my short hour hand is in between the 4 and 5. So remembering it's half past, what hour has it just gone past? It's just gone past the 4, so it's half past 4. Now, let's think about how that might be written on a digital clock. Okay, we know that the hour it has just gone past is 4, so we would put 4 there. Sometimes you might see a 0 there, or sometimes it might just be left blank. Remember, on this side, when we're talking about half past, it takes 30 minutes to get around to the 6 from there. So we always put in 30, and that tells us it's 4:30 or 4:30. Let's have a go at reading these clocks. All right, let's look at this one first. So remember what I said? We always look at the long minute hand first. This time it's pointing to the 6, so we know that it's 4:30 because it's travelled halfway around the clock. What is it? What hour has it gone past? If you look at the minute hand now, it's gone past the 1. Hasn't gone past the 2 yet, so it's 1:30. Let's look at this clock here. The long minute hand is on the 6, so it's 1:30 again. Where has the hour hand passed? It's gone past the 7. So it is 7:30. Have a look at this clock here. The long minute hand is on the 6. Again, we know it's 1/2 something. Let's look now to the hour hand. What has it gone past? It's just gone past the 3, so it's 3:30. And last one here, I'm sure you could do this by yourself. Remember to look at the minute hand first. It's pointing at the 6, so it's 1/2. Now look at the hour hand. What has it just gone past? It's just gone past the 4, so it's 1/2. Now these are the clocks we were just looking at on previously, so we know how to tell the time on these ones. Now we're going to match the digital time with these analog clocks. Okay, this one here says 4:30 or 1/2. Remember, when we see a 30 here, it means 1/2. So this actually is 4:30. Let's look at the clocks up here and see if we can see one that reads 4:30. Okay, so remember what we talked about? Where will that short hour hand be if it's 4:30? It will be just past the 4, won't it? So let's look at these clocks here and see if we can see any where the short hour hand has just gone past the 4. Is it this one? Well, no, it's only just gone past the 3. And in this one, the short hand has only just gone past the 7. And in this one, it's only just gone past the 1. Let's look at this one and check. Yes, you can see that it's halfway between the 4 and the 5, so it's gone past the 4. So this one here is 4:30 or 4:30. Let's have a closer look now for one that says 7:30. 7:30 or 7:30. Okay, so think about where the short hour hand will be pointing if it's 7:30. That's right, it's gone past the 7. Can you look at these clocks here and see which one it belongs to? Hopefully you picked this one here, because you can see that the short hour hand has just gone past the 7 there. Okay, this one here says 3:30. Let's look at our analog clocks up the top here and see if we can see one that says 3:30. Think about where the short hour hand would be pointing. That's right, it's gone past the 3. So it's this one here, because you can see that short hour hand is past the 3. So this blank one belongs under this clock. Can you help me read the time on this clock here? The long minute hand is pointing on the 6, so we know it's 1/2. And the short hour hand has just gone past the 1, so it's 1/2. So we know the hour hand is just gone past the 1, so it's 1. And we know from here to here it takes 30 minutes, so we write 30 after the dots there. Well done. Now I think we've spent a lot of time reviewing o'clock and 1/2. So now go back to the wiki and check out what your practice task is to make sure you're an expert at o'clock and 1/2 times. Good luck.